Welcome to Chapter 6. We are entering the third part of our course, where we will see techniques and tools that will help the athlete develop in a more holistic way. And as I've argued again and again, this is absolutely necessary to create an idea and create a long-term relationship not only with the sport but with the community he is in. We are going today to study some things about theater pedagogy. I have been studying theater pedagogy with Professor Simos Papadopoulos for the last 3 or 4 years, and this is his book that we've been basing our study. And that had been a very rich time with him. We have been doing many workshops and many retreats, covering really many subjects from literature to emotional development, children, adults, and so on. A question would logically be, how could I transmit the experience from so many years, from such a big field as theater pedagogy is, in just a session? Indeed, this is a legitimate question, and my goal here is not to teach theater pedagogy, so after this section you will be able to go out and be a theater pedagogist, be an empowering action coordinator. As in many other sections of this course, you will take some basic tools, but most importantly you will see a full system and how it is. You will see what tools are necessary for a holistic development, and whoever wants will have the opportunity to, one way or another, focus on one area. For example, I have introduced some courses that focus on specific aspects of the parts of this system that you have seen of the digital method coach development for tennis. So my idea here, my expectations, is for you to understand what theater pedagogy is, what is the idea of an empowering action coordinator, and enrich your idea, your understanding of the role of the coach and of the activity of learning tennis or any activity through theater pedagogy. So we will see two things: the role of the coach and the need of the athlete. A first discussion should revolve around the holy space and the idea of the holy space. You see, the role of the coach and the need of the athlete in regard to theater pedagogy has to do with this concept of holy space. Now, when we say holy space in our days and times, we just think of a place that has some kind of maybe historic significance, or it's just important. We don't have contact, we don't have connection nowadays with holy spaces. I don't mean spiritual places where beings exist and stuff like that. When I say a holy space, it means that we should be able to see the same place, the same space we live in and we do our activities in many different levels. One level is, for example, if you are at a tennis court, it's just a place where you do sports activities. But at another level, you should be able to transform this place into a holy space and do a more enriching and spiritual kind of activity like theater pedagogy. And you should be able to understand it for yourself and to make your athletes understand that the place doesn't mean anything by itself. It is us who attribute qualities to the space, and we can adjust our behavior based on our approach. So, what is a holy space? Holy space is a transformed by us and transforming space of action. Or it is a symbolic space for symbolic experiences. Before going any deeper into theater pedagogy, I must also say some things about what a symbol is. So, a symbol is information for our subconscious and unconscious minds. If I have something in my automated self, something that motivates me for action, for example, or something that makes me feel some things, I don't control it, I just react to the environment based on what it's written in my subconscious and unconscious mind. You can't speak logically to unconscious mind. You can't tell yourself, okay, stop craving for sweets, or stop falling in love with that kind of person, or stop behaving like this. This doesn't work, okay? But one way to talk to your subconscious or unconscious mind is through symbolisms, through symbols. And myths that we also use in theater pedagogies, or roles, okay, are truths that are told with symbols, so our subconscious and unconscious may understand. And because these are new age concepts, and usually new age is not my cup of tea, because it has just one part of the spiritual traditions and not the holistic viewpoint. Just a small comment about what unconscious and subconscious is, because you usually use them without being really able to discriminate them. So if we have an iceberg, the part that is above the water, that's the conscious part, our conscious experience, and it's the smallest one. Okay. Under the water, we have again two parts, not one. So until some point, the sun rays reach the iceberg below the surface of the water. This is the subconscious. But there is another large segment of the iceberg that not even sun rays reach. It's completely dark. That's the unconscious. Okay, so it's levels of consciousness, all three of them. So as soon as we open a whole space, we are now ready to go into theater pedagogy. What is theater pedagogy? Theater pedagogy is not theater, it's pedagogy. It's an educational system, a complete educational system that uses theater as its tool, as its main technique of expression. It borrows techniques from theater to use them for educational purposes. So we're not actors, okay, we are students or individuals undergoing an educational procedure. Theater pedagogy is for any age. Is maybe used to study works like theatrical plays, for example, or poems, any kind of works actually, or even scientific works. It's a way to develop capacities, mental capacities, emotional capacities. It's a part of systemic representations that are a very strong psychotherapeutical procedure, and theater pedagogy may be viewed as a subset of system representations. And in theater pedagogy, a form of systemic representation takes place as well. And it's very good means for psychotherapy. But what is psychotherapy? When I say psychotherapy, what do I mean? Because some people may think I'm referring to clinical cases. Not at all. If you have clinical cases, maybe theater pedagogy is not the suitable methodology, or cannot be done by just a coach in a tennis environment. Maybe it must be performed from specialists. Okay, so no clinical spaces here, no clinical cases here. So we all have traumas and neurotic behaviors. Neurotic behaviors are things that we have automated without wanting to. Okay, and they are blocking our actions, they are blocking our understanding if it's about beliefs, or they are blocking our technique or form if it's in our body. And if an erotic behavior is very strong, maybe we can talk about traumas. Now, when I say traumas, doesn't really have to have been raped to have trauma. Okay, actually, traumas can be very, very easily created. For example, your mom gets you to get a vaccine. Okay, she has the best intentions in the world, and so on. But you are just a small child, okay? The moment she takes you to the doctor and she says to you, we're going in a very beautiful place, there are good people there, and you will have fun and stuff like that. And when you go there and you see the doctor with a needle that attacks you, then, of course, that speaks to your subconscious and your unconscious, not to your logical mind, if you have any at that age, and you create a trauma, you feel betrayed, and you won't get over it for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, never, if you don't work on it, okay? So that's just a small example of how easily trauma can be created, okay? Not by any other extreme condition. And talking about psychotherapy, it's very usual to listen to people that are saying that, okay, my psychotherapy is playing tennis, okay, but what I see is people just feeding their neurotical behaviors, not doing psychotherapy, or they say that I play music and that's psychotherapy for me, and any other such activity. Okay, any activity can be psychotherapeutical, indeed, but there are some preconditions, okay, which are met in theater pedagogy and can be met in any other activity as well if it's done with this focus and this part. So, any activity can be psychotherapy if it has these three elements. So, first, we must connect with our neurotic behavior or our trauma or our issue, whatever that may be. We connect, so we have a technique which we use for connection. Then we have application of the main technique, which could be anything from neuro-linguistic programming, derived technique, theater pedagogy, playing guitar, playing tennis, okay? And three, there should be also time for embodiment. So we don't apply the technique and that's problem solved, we leave. We must leave enough time and in silence, meditate if you want, be with an empty mind, and live this experience, this newly gained knowledge to generalize in our body, in our minds, okay? So, let's see the benefits we can get from theater pedagogy in tennis in specific. So, we can achieve growth. What types of growth? Emotional, ethical, and social growth. It is very, again, that's a misconception that just participating in a sport, any sport, just playing music or whatever, or playing with peers in the playground, develops your emotions, your ethics, and your social skills. That doesn't apply, okay? So if we want to go until 100, if we just leave things on their own, they will go, let's say, until 30%. We must structure specific activities that address specifically these areas if we want them to develop. They won't develop by chance just by participating, and this is something that educational textbooks always mention, or sports psychology textbooks, that you cannot just leave these on their own and they grow by themselves. You should do it intentionally. Okay, as far as competition is concerned, we can use theater pedagogy in preparation. So we are preparing for competition or for an experience that requires some capacities on our behalf, okay? And we can use it to recreate the conditions that we will meet and work on these conditions. We can use it after, say, competition or after any experience to analyze the experience and to make adjustments, embody the experience and stuff like that. So for embodiment, okay. And of course we can use it for structured play, and structured play in terms, for example, for children and for adults maybe. It could concern knowing others, so games to know each other better, and not just to ask each other or have the coach just describing each other to the children, not to the adults. We have transformation, we have movement and expression games where the athletes use techniques from theater pedagogy to move with their body or to express feelings or their imagination or whatever else. We have transformation games where the individuals take up roles, and we can use theater pedagogy to do games to teach relaxation, focus and concentration techniques. It is very valuable for the coach to gain a new identity, the identity of the empowering action coordinator. 3 words, not a single word in English, because usually the word animator is used, but that's not the correct term. In Greek we have one word, it's empsychotis, from psyche, which is psyche, the psyche. Okay, a good coach, any good coach, should also develop this kind of role and identity, and use it whenever appropriate, of course, but be able to use this identity as well. So let's see the characteristics of the empowering action coordinator. So he is not a teacher. He does not have to follow a curriculum, and he does not have deadlines. Okay. He is a researcher, both of science and of experience. He investigates humans in every possible way. His team is his field or her field. Okay. He's an artist because he's a theater pedagogist, and because art is very relevant to emotions, and as we have already discussed, after feelings about a technical form come emotions. Okay, so we should be able to deal with emotions as well if we want to embody the technical form perfectly, therefore creating our own personal style. He's a pedagogist, so he leads individuals, children, pedagogist from the Greek word παιδί, which means child, okay? And he's also a saint, and you will understand this concept as I move on. The empowering action coordinator knows how to remain silent and suffer for others. This is really something very different than the idea we have for coaches nowadays, but it is very crucial for an empowering action coordinator, such type of a coach, to be able to take the burden from his team and transform it and give it back. Okay, he's not the leader in the way that he dictates things, and he's the sort of dictator we may have connected to some forms of coaching. To the contrary, he has the responsibility of the mistakes of the team as his own mistakes. He suffers their burden, their passions, their problems. Okay. This doesn't mean that he gets depression. Okay. This means that he is a mirror and he reflects to his team, so building their self-consciousness. Okay. He reflects back the emotions, their emotions, and their responses and their reactions. He is the creator of a transformative educational community in search of originality inside the participants through the creation of an original relationship with them. He or she creates, a universal and heroic educational relationship. So, studying theater pedagogy, one attains this new type of idea, of role, which is very suitable one when we come to growing individuals emotionally, ethically and socially, or when we have to deal with, and we will always have to do that, deal with their problems or their needs in a psychotherapeutic way. Theater pedagogy is a transformative experience, or theater pedagogy as a transformative experience. Let's see the nucleus, the core of such a procedure. We use it to transform what? Other people, yourself in specific moments, roles, maybe a role of imaginary persons, ideas, symbols, experiences, even things like weather and equipment, into, again, the same, other people, yourself in specific moments, etc., etc. So, this is one way to transform these modalities into anything else. Another way is to transform yourself into any one of these. So we may use the environment or any element of it, or whatever we understand as an external environment, and transform it into anything else, or we may transform ourselves into anything we really want, and then go on and apply any technique from theater pedagogy.